One of my favorite animated television shows from the era before most television studios just gave up is Batman the Animated Series. It was witty, funny, dark, insightful, and an all-around wonderful show to watch even if you aren't too big a fan of Batman. It featured iconic characters with compelling story arcs which either explain their origins, motives, or personality traits depending on the character in question, and even went out of its way to create new characters. One character in particular, who was created in September 1992 in the episode Joker's Favor, would gain an immediate fandom and would survive the test of time. More or less. This character is, of course, the lover of the clown prince of crime, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is an interesting character, because, at first, she was somewhat of an enigma. Not only was she a henchwoman with an IQ higher than the standard interchangeable goons, but she was legitimately in love with the most nihilistic character of the Rogues Gallery. People wanted to know why, and they got it. 2 to 7 years later. 2 if you read the original comics, 7 if you watched the cartoon. It turned out Harleen Quinzel was once a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, where the Joker was being held. She would interview the clown, who spun a sad tale about his origins, tugging at her heartstrings and forming a bond with his doctor. Once she saw how Batman treated her puddin' after an escape, she snapped and vowed to both protect Joker and get revenge on Batman for mistreating what she believed to be a poor, tortured soul in need of guidance. And that's only the origin of Harley Quinn, as she has gotten incredibly popular in recent years, earning her numerous comics both on her own or alongside other notable characters, a live-action version of her character in the Academy Award-winning film Suicide Squad. Yes, those were words. And basically cementing herself as one of the most iconic characters of the DC Universe. Maybe even more so than Batman or her beloved Mr. J. With the character becoming so popular and making the rounds in numerous universes, it would almost be inevitable that she would return to her roots and make an appearance in her original animated form, much to the joy of her fans from the old days. This is where Bruce Timm's animated direct-to-DVD film, Batman and Harley Quinn, comes into the picture. Yep, from one of the men who brought us the girl, we now have an animated film featuring the original animated cartoon style, most of the original voice cast, and of course, Harley Quinn. So, can it bring back the glory days of the Clown Prince's girlfriend? Or will this revival be a flop? Well, the only way to find out is to embrace the madness! So we start off this adventure with a brief intro featuring our main villains for the evening, Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing. Sorry, that's actually Jason Woodrue, aka the Floronic Man. Who is the Floronic Man? Well, he's an interdimensional being from a world composed of sentient plants. He has never shown up in an animated Batman story and has only appeared in one other Batman film. Guess which one?
I'm afraid you'll have to die.
Yep, we're already off to a great start, folks. So, after Poison Ivy steals a computer file composed of pure gibberish, we get our title screen, which literally illustrates one key problem with this film. Tonal Shift. We start the film with 2 eco-terrorists killing people, and follow it up with a silly, cartoony title sequence. It's like the creator of Teen Titans Go were put in charge of this intro, which honestly wouldn't surprise me. Also, this entire sequence where everyone is chasing Harley Quinn, it never happens in the movie, so it's pointless. Get ready for a lot of that. After that oddity, we cut back to the scene of the crime, where Batman and Nightwing, voiced by Kevin Conroy and Lauren Lester respectfully, have inevitably shown up to investigate. Apparently, Batman is so awesome he can make a computer work even though the screen is cracked. That takes a lot of skill. All kidding aside, Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man have been looking up information about how the actual Swamp Thing was born. The dynamic duo decide to split up, with Batman following a lead with Argus, which is basically a super-duper military base, in order to figure out why. leaving Nightwing to look up all known affiliates to Poison Ivy, including her gal pal Harley Quinn, who is currently out on parole. Quelle coincidence! We follow Batman to Argus, where he talks to John DiMaggio, Sarge Steele, about the theft, and finally gets some info after he straight up blackmails the sergeant. But not before some of the comedy we'll be subjected to throughout this film.
Oof, that Lady Shiva. Wouldn't say no to a slice of that pie, know what I mean?
Also, hello Rob Paulsen character number 1.
Big fan.
Meanwhile, after a montage of annoying, pointless characters, Nightwing finds Harley Quinn working at... Superhero Hooters. Yeah, it's got another name, but look at it. It's Hooters with a superhero theme. They didn't even get some of the costumes right. Look at Batgirl. Since when did she show off so much skin? Also, I love how the animators put so much effort into making these skimpy outfits, but not into making the food look different.
Okay, we got one Power Girl jumbo combo, one black canary leg and thigh with coleslaw.
Anyway, after Harley breaks some perv's arm, she heads home only to find Nightwing following her. Nightwing then attempts to swiftly recruit Harley into helping him and Batman save the day, which fails and ends in the two of them fighting each other. Harley gets the upper hand with some leftover Joker venom and takes Nightwing home to hold him captive.
You say I'm a criminal. They say I'm a hooah. Well, I'm sick of other people telling me what I am.
You know, you say that, Harley, but everything you do in this film tells me you're going to be nothing but a hooer for this entire story. And no sooner do I think that than Harley immediately strips in front of Nightwing, shows off her assets, and then actually proceeds to have sex with him. No joke.
Face it, sugar. I got something you want, and you sure as shootin' got something I want. So, be a good boy and maybe Mama will give you a cookie.
Ugh, this is wrong on so many levels. Firstly, how old is Harley compared to Nightwing? We know she's been by the Joker's side way before Dick Grayson donned his second persona, so she has to be way older than him. I'm thinking late 30s to mid 40s. Secondly, well, she and the Joker have been a thing for a while.
Don't you want to rev up your Harley? Vroom, vroom.
Ugh, ew. Back with Batman, the detective figures out that the two eco-terrorists are planning to recreate the formula that made Swamp Thing and convert it into a virus to turn all of humanity into plant people. Or as I like to call it, Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or The Amazing Spider-Man. Yep, we're going that route. The baddies have some big bad virus that could destroy or mutate all of humanity. That's no exaggeration, by the way. According to Batman, if Poison Ivy and Woodrue get one tiny thing wrong, everything on Earth will die. So it's up to the combined efforts of Batman, Nightwing, and Harley Quinn to stop the eco-terrorists. Right after she finishes her post-sex tickle fight. The plot then proceeds to stomp on the brakes in order to give way to 3 minutes of pointless padding. Now, what could our heroes possibly do for 3 minutes? Well, Harley Quinn spots some random schlub on the streets and chases him to the point of causing car crashes and jumping across rooftops. Now, you'd think this guy was related to Poison Ivy and Woodrue somehow, but no. Instead, this guy stood Harley Quinn up at her high school prom. So yeah, this scene, completely pointless. So, you're probably wondering, well, that was pretty dumb, but it certainly can't get any worse, right?
O ye of little knowledge, what wonders I shall bestow upon thee!
Right here, at the 30-minute mark, the movie goes out of its way to give us the low point of our comedy for the night.
Oh, holy...
It's not so bad. Smells like discipline.
Yes, you just witnessed that. This scene goes on for at least 30 seconds, but it feels like an eternity. Especially with poor Kevin Conroy having to say,
Smells like discipline.
I hope Conroy's paycheck had a nice bonus attached to it with a note that said, "We are so sorry." After that. We enter a club full of all of the henchmen from the animated series, including Captain Clown from The Last Laugh and Two-Face's twins from Part 2. Which reminds me, hello, Rob Paulsons! Yep, the twins are both voiced by Rob Paulson, and they both sing Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds' Don't Pull Your Love. And of course, after they sing, Harley sings Blondie's Hanging on the Telephone in order to coax some information out of one of Poison Ivy's former goons. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say sing? I meant caterwaul while shaking her assets. And before anyone mentions that scene from Harley Quinn, yeah, Harley sucks at singing no matter what, but at least all she did back then was show off her butt. In this film, she goes all in, shaking her breasts, swinging her hips, and I don't even know what she's doing here. I'm not saying it's a crime to strut your stuff, but this song and dance number is just a waste of time, meant to show how Bruce Timm thinks everyone who watched the original animated series grew up to be a bunch of perverts. And this pointless moment lasts yet another 3 minutes. Ugh. If this film had any more padding, it would be classified as bulletproof. Regardless, Team Bats gets the info they need, only to be cornered by every thug Batman and Nightwing have ever beaten.
Only way you're getting out of here is in a black plastic bag with a zipper up the front.
A body bag.
He knows what it is.
Hi, Rob Paulson, number 4.
Okay, boys. Let's dance.
Adam West is rolling in his grave. Oh, and if you thought we were done with the pointless padding for this film, listen to this.
Hey Bats, it's Booster. Got your emergency alert. Hey, the thing is, most of our heavy hitters are out near Rigel trying to stop a rogue comet or black hole or something.
God, can we please just get back to the actual plot of this film? I don't care that Booster Gold is voiced by Bruce Timm. I just want to get back on track. Oh, thank merciful Paul Dini. I'll take the boring eco-terrorists over anything. Yes, finally. Team Bats catches up with Team Plant, and almost instantaneously get their lights punched out right before a fire caused by random chemicals pops up because of course. Prior to their fight, Team Plant decides to relocate to the Louisiana swamp where Swamp Thing came from to complete their formula. Keep in mind, they need this scientist, voiced again by Rob Paulson, who is currently under Poison Ivy's mind control in order to make the formula without screwing anything up. Except they apparently don't because Woodrow just shoots him with a giant thorn before the eco-terrorists leave during the fire. Team Bats survive the blaze, but the scientist is fading fast, causing the film to suddenly make an attempt at an emotional scene.
Louisiana.
Don't try to talk. It's okay.
No.
I'm sorry, but it's too late for you to try this movie. Just a few scenes earlier, your big thing was fart jokes.
It's okay, Doc. You did good. You did real good. We'll take it from here.
Yeah, these two tones don't really work together now, do they? Meanwhile, Ivy and Woodrow are up a creek without a paddle because the police are onto their plans. Good thing Floronic Man has a Deus Ex Machina Yam of Doom, which allows them to turn trees into platform 9 3/4, while getting absolutely baked, going from Ivy's expression. Thankfully, the dead scientist told Team Bats about Louisiana, so it's time for everyone to saddle up, except for Harley, apparently. Yep. Despite everything she has done to help Batman, the Dark Knight still doesn't trust her. Why? Yeah, she's about as stable as a bridge made out of M&Ms, but she'd managed to find a contact, collect information, and help you track down Ivy. Why don't you trust her? Did we skip a scene, or was that pointless padding from way back in the film your point of contention? Either way, it doesn't matter, as Batman eventually, if not inevitably, relents and says probably the best line of the movie.
God help us.
You know, I think that was actually the tagline for this film. So here we are, the third and final act of the film. Let's get this over with. Team Bats shows up in a Louisiana swamp while Ivy tries to make the formula around the Floronic Man, who shows he is in desperate need of a fidget spinner.
Would you please stop fidgeting?
After even more padding, things kick off with the Boomer from Left 4 Dead 2 making a cameo as a Sarlacc pit. And then we have the inevitable betrayal plot point, where Harley pretends to betray Batman and Nightwing in order to convince Ivy to change her mind, but it's no good. What follows is what probably one person in the audience has been waiting for: a catfight between Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
2 women enter, 1 woman leaves. Let's get ready to pander!
Meanwhile, Batman and Nightwing deal with Woodrue, which is of course easier said than done.
You know, just once I'd like to meet an alien menace that wasn't immune to bullets.
All seems lost when Ivy pins Harley, but Quinn has one last weapon up her sleeve.
Harley, I'm warning you. Don't you dare! I hate you so much.
Yes, in the end, the way to defeat Poison Ivy was to give her the lesbian pouty face of doom.
Because I'm in lesbians with you. What?
This doesn't settle well with Woodrue, who tries to overpower his former partner in crime. Ivy, however, proves she is more than capable of defending herself, only to be knocked out. It looks like Woodrue has finally won, but the movie suddenly spits out a character who has been referenced throughout the entire story, only to sink back into the earth. Yeah, after being built up for so long, and having what I assume was supposed to be a majestic entrance, all Swamp Thing does is go,
Hey, you down there. Stop it. Just stop it. Alright, I'll see you guys later. I gotta catch the new episode of Teen Titans Go.
and then he just sinks back into the swamp. No punishment for Woodrue, no help given to Team Bats, just 4 minutes and 30 seconds of pure, unfiltered, unrelenting padding!
Well, that was a big-ass bucket of nothing.
And just to add a cherry to this surreal Sunday, Harley suggests the dynamic duo set Floronic Man on fire, to which they both graciously kiss her on the cheeks. And then, credits. Yeah, the movie just ends right then and there. Kind of. They show a clip of Woodrue running and screaming through the swamp while on fire, and that's it. Oh, but wait. Just when you think the film cannot have any more pointless padding, we get an end credits scene of Harley Quinn living a new life as a reality game show host.
But all you gotta do is make it to that finish line way over there to win a full year of therapy from a real honest-to-goodness shrink. Hang in there, baby!
No! No! I'm done! I'm completely done! This film is horrendous! Not only does it feel like it was written on a table napkin, not only is it padded to the nth degree, not only does it believe fans of the original show have grown up to be perverts, it just spits on the face of all the fans of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is not some airheaded, sex-craved clod who loves showing her stuff. She's a highly intelligent psychiatrist who has been broken by an abusive relationship which she will never recover from. She's one of the saddest members of the Batman's Rogues Gallery, who is probably the closest to living a normal life, if only she can resist the Joker's control over her. Instead of showing that side of her character and making an actual story from that, this film goes above and beyond to show you everything the character is not. I'll admit, I haven't read much of her modern-day comics, so maybe this version of her character makes more sense within that context. But in the context of the animated universe, this iteration of Harley Quinn makes absolutely no sense. Now, people give the animated version of Batman the Killing Joke flack for that 30-minute prologue that has nothing to do with the subject material, especially for that sex scene between Batman and Batgirl. But after seeing this film, I think I could live with those 30 minutes. Unlike Batman and Harley Quinn, Killing Joke's prologue actually gave a care about the characters. Mostly. And made you care about Barbara Gordon's struggle, which parallels Bruce Wayne's personal struggle with his self-control. It was a story about how a young, brash woman saw the dark, passionate world which Batman fights against every night, and how she said to herself, "I can do better than this," and thus abandons her title as Batgirl, not knowing what is going to happen to her in the near future. It's actually a sad story that somewhat parallels the story of Killing Joke, and I'd be willing to watch that over any more of this train wreck of an animated film. If you want to see a better version of this story, just watch the 72nd episode of the animated series, known as Harley Quinnade. It's pretty much exactly the same as Batman and Harley Quinn, only instead of Poison Ivy and the Floronic Man, Team Bats have to go against the Joker, who is in the possession of an atomic bomb. Yeah, that actually happened, and it's much better than this piece of tripe. Bruce, Tim, what the actual f*** were you thinking? Next time you want to make a Harley Quinn movie, get Paul Dini to help you out. After all, he helped you make the character in the first place, and still writes for her as of this recording. I'm gonna go watch the original animated series. In the meantime, never stop rambling. This has been Rambles and Mumbles of a Nerd, and I thank you very much for watching this episode. God.